Welcome back to the channel, you guys. It feels good to get back into making videos. I'm now 7 weeks postpartum, so I feel like it's a great time to sit down and talk about labor, VBAC, postpartum, all the things. And you guys had some really great questions from my Instagram. If you aren't a follower on the Instagram, follow there. I thought I would do a quick recap of CJ's labor and then Vivian's labor, because Vivian was my second. She's our daughter. CJ is my son. He was born in 2 years ago, 2023. And with him, I had a pretty not ideal labor and delivery. I was induced at 39 weeks, labored for like 2 days, basically, pushed for 3.5 hours. He never came, got an infection. He was pretty much stuck down there. Went in for a urgent C-section. I wouldn't say emergency, but an urgent C-section. Hemorrhaged a lot, had uterine atony, and then CJ spent a couple days in the NICU. So just a very hard labor, lots of complications, not ideal. So going into this labor this time around, I really wanted to try for a VBAC. There are tons of questions about the VBAC. So I'll just start in with that. The first question is, were you scared? And what made you not just opt for another C-section? I feel like in the decision-making process of going through all the risks and pros and cons of a C-section, scheduled C-section versus attempting for a trial of labor again, a VBAC, if you're not familiar, vaginal birth after C-section. There are risks with both. There's always going to be risks when you're going into a major surgery. And then the main risk with trying labor is a big one is a uterine rupture, which is a very scary and a very, very serious complication. So yeah, I was a little scared, like when I was processing through all this with my doctors. I mean, I asked so many questions. The way that my OB worked, which I really loved this, is that they have a rotation of doctors. You'll meet all of them throughout your pregnancy, almost all of them, and then you can end up with any of them when it comes to delivery. I asked every single one of them, what do you think about me trying for a VBAC? Here's what happened with my son's birth, so on and so forth. Yeah, once I made that decision, there were times throughout my pregnancy where I would get like a little anxious, and then I would go back to my doctors and just talk to them about it again. I'm a Christian, so I would pray and like ask for peace and wisdom in the decision, and I feel like those things combined gave me a lot of peace. Why I didn't want to have another C-section, I just truly hated having a C-section. Now, I also didn't have like a very typical C-section, so I don't know if that affected my recovery. It made it harder, but my recovery was really hard with that C-section. And also thinking that we want to have more kids, 3 or 4. I don't want to do that 3 or 4 times if I don't have to. In what ways did you prep for your VBAC? Because I believed that CJ wasn't in a good position, and I had several doctors also believe that CJ wasn't able to be pushed out because he wasn't in a good position. I was like, okay, I'm going to do everything I can in my power to get this baby perfectly placed in my birth canal. One of my doctors recommended doing the spinning babies method, and she actually just gave me like a printout with the different exercises and tips that they have. Around 26 weeks, I started drinking raspberry leaf tea, 1 cup a night. I actually loved it. Put a little honey in there. It's delicious. I ate dates multiple times a week, mostly just because I love dates. Starting in the second trimester, I tried to walk every single day. Around, I don't know, maybe like the last month of my pregnancy, I got one of those big exercise balls, and I was constantly on that thing, just while CJ was eating breakfast, while I was working, watching TV, back and forth on that medicine ball, or not medicine ball, the big exercise ball. I stretched every single night, every single day. I did, hip opening stretches. I also kept up with my exercise routine. I was working out. I do burn boot camp. I've done that 3 to 5 days a week, my entire pregnancy. It was just a lot of basically walking, drinking teas, moving on the ball, and trying to open them hips up. What prenatal vitamin did you take, and did you continue it after birth? With both CJ and Vivian, I took the Ritual prenatal vitamins, and I just paid for these with my own money. So I'm very excited to say that this video is sponsored by Ritual, which is awesome because I stand by their product. Something that I really loved about Ritual and made it stand out to me amongst other brands, especially in the supplement space, is that you don't always know what you're getting. Ritual is very transparent about every ingredient, every supplier, every study that they use to choose what goes into their product. And I just think that gives me such a peace of mind when this is such an important supplement for my body and my baby's growth and development. So I love their prenatal. I'm actually switched over to their postnatal now. Ritual. And this has 15 key nutrients that your body needs, and it's specifically designed for a postpartum mother and the new demands of your body going into breastfeeding. Their nutrients are evidence-backed. They come in really high quality bioavailable forms. So you just know that your body's actually getting what it needs. I also really like that their supplements are pretty gentle on your stomach, so you can take them with or without food. Ritual is right now having their Black Friday Cyber Monday sale on their website. Everything is 40% off, which is a huge savings. So you can get the postnatal vitamin. It's normally $39. You can get it for $23.40. So stock up for like those 6 months postpartum or the year that you plan on breastfeeding or whatever it is. You can use my link. I'll have it in the description box below for you guys to go check them out. And that'll take you to get to their website for the 40% off. And thank you, Ritual, for supporting this video. I love you guys. I stand by you guys, and I will use you for my future pregnancies as well. Someone said, all the VBAC tips, timing between births, and scar tips. There were a lot of questions about if I had scar pain during my pregnancy and delivery. I'll start with the timing between births. We waited the full 18 months after my C-section. Caleb and I were really strict about it. Well, I was really strict. I was like, we are not getting pregnant before the 18 months because I know I want to try for a VBAC and I don't want to have a higher chance of a uterine rupture. My scar, right around in like the second trimester, I had this weird like ripple underneath my belly button and between my scar. And it was really sensitive to the touch on my skin. And yeah, it was very painful and it looked a little weird. And I would touch it and it just was super tender. So I had that. That went away after a little bit and my doctor said that was probably just some scar tissue. And then right the week before I gave birth, I had a lot of like on my right side of my scar, it was really tender, which freaked me out. I was like, oh my gosh, my scar is opening up. I'm having a uterine rupture. Like I got scared and I asked my doctor about it and she's like, I think it's just the scar tissue stretching out. I carried super high. So when Vivian started to move down, those scar tissue started to break up and it was kind of sore and tender. Oh, here's some uterine rupture questions. Were you scared about uterine rupture? Were you anxious with every contraction that you would have a rupture? I guess kind of during the decision-making process, I was obviously nervous about it. It's like a huge, real risk. Again, super low chance, less than a 1% chance, but still, you never know. You could be that 1%. So I think it's definitely something that you have to discuss and talk about with your doctors, with your spouse. No matter what, when you go in for labor, there are risks. You never know how it's gonna happen. And whether you're going for a planned C-section or labor, like there are possible complications that could happen. And so it's kind of like, I don't know, no matter what, you can't control the outcomes. So I was like, well, I'll try this. So then when I was there at the hospital, I had a ton of peace because they're monitoring me, they're monitoring the baby. If there's an emergency, we can take care of it fast. Were you ever given Pitocin? So this was something that I was really a stickler about. I did not want to be induced. That's why I did everything I could to get my body to go into spontaneous labor. So all those things I did to prep for my VBAC mostly were to prep me for going into spontaneous labor, which I did at 38 weeks and 5 days. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah, I did not want to be induced because I just knew my body did not respond to that well the first time. Do I think all inductions are bad? No, I think there are definitely time and places for inductions. Once I was there, you know, you're choosing to forego a scheduled C-section and the hospital sits you down when you're there. Like after I got the epidural, the lady came in. She was like a resident doctor, not my actual doctor. She came in and went through all this paperwork and was like, do you consent to this, this, and this? And then one of the questions was like, do you consent to getting Pitocin if you need be? And I told her straight up, I was like, I do not want Pitocin. If it's like last case scenario emergency, sure, we can talk about it. But like, I really want to avoid that at all costs. I do not want to put any stress on my body, on my uterus or anything. I want to be very careful about it. And they're kind of like, well, you know, if you have the epidural, like it could help. And I was like, I don't want it unless it's like an emergency and my body stops progressing and things we need to get going. I do not want it. So thankfully my body was having a ton of contractions and we never needed it. And it was never a conversation again after that. But I feel like I did have to be a little firm. But also my doctors, like my personal doctors, were very on board with me not having any interventions. So I just like stick to your guns. You can be kind and firm, and that's all you need to be. Did your OB make you have an epidural, or was that a personal choice? That was a personal choice. I don't think any doctor should make you do anything. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of weird. I definitely wanted the epidural. That's always been part of my plan. I don't ever plan on doing a natural birth. But also I had a ton of peace of mind knowing that if there was an emergency, if I did have a uterine rupture, I was already medicated to be rushed into a C-section. That is something that they will talk to you about if you choose for VBAC and you do have a uterine rupture and you're unmedicated, they have to put you under general anesthesia because they don't have enough time to give you a spinal tap or an epidural for pain relief for your C-section. So they just have to put you to sleep. So you're asleep for your baby's birth. And that to me was not a risk that I wanted. I didn't want to have also that on top of it. How good / bad was the tearing? How good was the tearing is kind of a funny way to word that. I only had a 1st-degree tear, so I never had any stitches. I had 2 little small tears, and they didn't hurt at all. Right after I got my epidural, like 2 hours later, they came in and broke my water. And then about an hour later, I felt the pressure down, like I had to poop, which they say that's the feeling that you get when it's time to start pushing. And they waited like an hour after I started feeling that and checked me, and I was a 10, and I started pushing. So I think she just like, I don't know if they call that bearing down maybe, but she was just ready to go. So I think my body had enough time to like naturally start to stretch and open, and it wasn't forced or too fast or anything, and I didn't tear. So I don't know. Very grateful for that. What is it like finding out gender at birth? The most amazing feeling in the entire world. It is like the ultimate climax to your story. You've been waiting 9 long months, envisioning what this life is going to be like, envisioning who this baby's going to be. And then you have this moment, you just put in the work of your life to get this baby out. You put in so much on your body and the changes and everything, the last 9 months, everything you've been through. And then you get there and you're pushing and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. And then you get there and it's like, I'm going to do it because I get to meet my baby. It is the most motivating, amazing, special surprise of your life. And having Caleb announce with CJ, it's a boy and it's a girl, was just the most sweet and intimate thing ever. Like, I just loved it. It's just so fun. And I know a lot of people are like, no matter what, it's fine. My sister-in-law, she's like, no matter what, it's exciting because you're getting a baby. And I agree with that. And I do agree that like, during my pregnancy, I don't always feel the most bonded to my baby, but I mean, we have our whole life to bond. I don't know. It doesn't make or break that for me. I'm like, I love getting to bond with my baby and just sit in that excitement and surprise after birth of like, oh my gosh, this whole time it was you in my belly. And I still feel that way sometimes. I look at her and I'm like, I can't believe I look at these pictures and it was you the whole time. It's just so fun. It's so amazing. It's so fun. I'll do it for all of our babies. Was Vivian smaller than CJ? So did that help with the VBAC? Vivian was basically the same size as CJ. He was 8'6", 8 pounds, 6 ounces, 20.5 inches long. She was 8 pounds, 3 ounces, so barely smaller weight-wise, and 19.5 inches long. So she was a little shorter. How has your recovery been different from a C-section versus a VBAC? Worlds and worlds and worlds different. Like, so insanely different. I'm so sorry, but like C-section recovery is so much harder, and ladies, C-section mamas, we went freaking through it, okay? That C-section recovery is so hard, and this was so much easier, so much better, and you're a warrior, okay? C-section moms, people have nothing on you. They've got nothing on you, okay? That recovery is so hard for me. It was so hard. This was like, I don't want to say a walk in the park, but like kind of, a little bit. It really was. Obviously, it's still painful. There are still things that hurt and are uncomfortable. I'm not to say it wasn't painful and it wasn't hard. You just heal so much faster. I just came out of everything so much quicker. Also, not getting all the medications. I do think like the fact that I hemorrhaged with my C-section, I labored and I hemorrhaged. So those are 2 extra things that make your recovery so much harder. And something that they had to pump me with a ton of medicine after I started hemorrhaging. Like, I remember the anesthesiologist came over me. She was like, you're losing a lot of blood. You're losing a lot more blood than normal. So I'm going to start giving you some shots to help your blood clot and all these things. And like, I had 3 IV lines in my arm. Yeah, 3. And they're giving me shots of medicine to try to help stop me. I had the Pitocin, I had the Cytotec, I had the epidural, I had all the blood clotting medications, everything afterwards. Then you're on, narcotics for pain after. So I think just not having all that medication in my body too, besides the epidural, really helped me recover as well. Have you ever dealt with postpartum hair loss? If so, can you please share your experience? I thought with CJ, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't get it. No, then around 6 months, it all started to fall out. I don't remember how long I lost for. I felt like I mostly lost it, in this section here. Just continue taking your prenatal or the postnatal vitamin from Ritual, and that kind of helps to control it. But everyone gets hit with it for the most part. Have you struggled mentally postpartum either time? I don't feel like I get anything past the normal baby blues. And the way that I feel baby blues, I don't feel sad. I actually feel, well, maybe I do feel a little sad. I mean, I cry a little bit. I remember crying like a little bit each day after CJ, which I felt like a lot of that was just processing birth. And I felt a little like it was I felt like it was a little traumatic. And then I did have a couple anxious thoughts right after CJ was born. I remember like intrusive thoughts, going out to the mall with my sister when she came to visit, and she was pushing his stroller and I didn't have my eyes on him, and I had like a mini panic moment where I was like, I left him in the car, you know, like these scary thoughts that would come in, and then I had to be like, no, I didn't, Abby, like you didn't forget him, he's with you. So I had a few of those, but I feel like after the 2-3 weeks those went away. This time I would say the same thing. I didn't have any sadness. I was a little sad actually at the beginning, just like with that transition with CJ. So it's just like the normal blues. And then I did have a little bit of anxiety those first 2 or 3 weeks. CJ got sick with hand, foot, mouth. That made me feel very anxious with him being sick and then having a 4-day-old in the house. And then I did feel anxious. I think it kind of led up around 3 weeks. I was telling Caleb, I'm like, everything just felt really heavy. I felt like I was at my max capacity and anything else would put me over the tipping edge. It's just kind of how I felt. Yeah, after 3 weeks, that went away. I would not say I have postpartum anxiety or postpartum depression. It all goes away once I feel like things kind of level out. Yeah, I'm pretty great. I'm grateful for that. How has breastfeeding gone second time? Any differences using a nipple shield? ? Okay, breastfeeding, I feel like with every baby, it's going to be different. I do feel like it's a little less overwhelming this time around because I know what to expect. The first 2 weeks of her life, Vivian went to the doctor. We went like 6 or 7 times for weight checks because she lost the normal amount of weight that a baby needs to lose. Like after you give birth, your baby always loses weight, but they're supposed to gain their birth weight back by 2 weeks. She had lost her weight. She was not continuing to lose weight, but she just wasn't gaining it back at the rate that they needed. So my doctor, our pediatrician, was amazing. And he was like, okay, well, let's try this. Like, try feeding her more often and come back in 2 days and let's see if she's gained weight again. So then I came back and she hadn't gained any weight. This was where I was really appreciative of him, not just like saying, let's do formula, let's do this, let's do that. Like, he was like, okay, so you're feeding her more often, like, let's try adding a bottle in there of like pumped milk. Then he said, what's your caloric intake look like? And I remember sitting there and I'm looking at him and I'm like, well, I mean, it's almost 1 o'clock and I haven't eaten anything today. So it probably is my caloric intake. And then I was just thinking through my days. I'm like, it's not that I'm not wanting to eat. It's that I wake up and I'm so tired. It is so go, 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 that by the time I look at the clock, it's 1 o'clock, it's lunchtime, and I haven't eaten anything. I just haven't even thought about food. I'm starving, I want to eat, but I don't know. I was not able to juggle my time yet. That, of course, I wasn't thinking about myself, you know, and that's okay. Like, that's just what this season of life is. But basically, she just wasn't getting the fat content that she needed and the calories that she needed in the milk. So the next day I fixed that, went in 2 days later, and she had gained fine. So it's been real. We've had no issues since then, and I promise you guys, I'm eating. Like, it was just so overwhelming. I am still using a nipple shield. It works great for us. So far, which has felt harder, 0 to 1 or 1 to 2? Okay, these are my last 2 questions. So this question, I would definitely say 1 to 2 for me has been a little bit harder. CJ was the easiest baby in the world. I think what was hard was just figuring out all the baby things. You know, it's like scary. You have no idea what babies are like. I had no idea what a baby was like. I had no idea how to take care of a baby. So that was like, I didn't think it was hard, but it was definitely like we were navigating that for the first time. This time, the baby stuff is so easy. You just kind of pick it back up. It honestly just comes back immediately once you have your baby. I would say the family dynamic has been harder. Like, it was really hard and sad with CJ those first 2-3 weeks. Even just like for me, I was like, I'm so sad that I'm not just like grabbing CJ and we're going to the park or we're going to the grocery store. Like, he's my little buddy, my bestie. And it just felt even sad. Oh my gosh. Let me take a breath. I don't want to get emotional. It was just sad adjusting to the new relationship dynamic. I feel like that is where it has been a little harder. And CJ has been like the best toddler, the best brother. He has not been jealous at all. He's been so sweet to his sister, so kind. I think it's just like I haven't figured out. I think I'm tender about it because I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, my mom comes over every morning and hangs out with him because I don't know how to do it all by myself yet, you know? And, like, I don't want him to feel neglected. Which I've had, like, 2 days with the morning where it's, like, just me, him, and Vivian. And, like, it's been great. You know, you figure it out. But day to day, still figuring it out. I feel like that is what's hard. It's like I want to give him the same attention that I could before. And he doesn't even make me feel bad about it. I just feel bad about it. Once my mom leaves, she leaves next week. She's been here almost 8 weeks. When she leaves, the Band-Aid's going to be ripped off, and I'm going to have to figure it out, and I know I'll be fine. Also, because Caleb does not get paternity leave, like, I do not know how people do it. Okay, well, wait. This kind of goes into the last question, but tips for managing a toddler's needs with a newborn's needs in your own postpartum. Like, okay, if your husband gets paternity leave, you really only need like one person to help you. You need help. So if it's your husband, that's amazing. My husband does not get time off work. So it can't be him. His help is incredible when he gets home from work in the nights. He does everything that he can. So not dogging on Caleb. He's the most amazing husband. But during the day when he's gone, like, you definitely need help. So that's where, like, my mom has been literally my lifeline, especially the first 2-3 weeks. If you can have someone come and stay with you just to hang out with your toddler, you have to do that if you can. If not, you will figure it out. You are strong, you are smart, and you are capable. You can figure it out. But if you have the option for help, have the help, whether it's your mom, your mother-in-law, your sister, your aunt, your grandma, whoever. Like, someone needs to come and live with you if your husband is not available. If it's your husband, that's all you need. You just need one other person. But to have someone take CJ in the mornings when I'm so tired coming off nights, Caleb is at work, to have my mom come in the morning through CJ's nap just to hang out with him and help stuff with the house was everything. That's everything that I needed. Anyway, I'm 7 weeks postpartum. I'm obviously still figuring it out. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. I hope it wasn't scary or intimidating. Just wanted to share real, raw emotions, the reality of things. All in all, this postpartum has been amazing. Okay, obviously there are hard things relationally. Obviously I'm healing. But, like, overall, it's been amazing. I feel like I've been out and about trying to get back into normal life since, like, week 2, which I'm really grateful we've been able to do that. So grateful for my mom's help. So grateful for Caleb. And love our babies so much. I want 3 or 4. So, like, nothing has been hard enough to the point where I'm like, I never want to do this again, or I don't want to do this, or it was too hard. Like, no, nothing is too hard, okay? This season is amazing. These babies are amazing, and they're so worth the adjustment period. It's just an adjustment period. We have adjustment periods when we start new jobs. We have adjustment periods when we get married. We have adjustment periods when we move cities, right? Everything in life, every change, there's an adjustment period. And this is like the best adjustment period of them all, because life is so amazing and so special and such a miracle and such a gift. And I love these babies so much. So that is my postpartum feedback labor Q&A. Thank you guys for watching. Me and Vivian are very grateful. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, so subscribe if you haven't. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.